Do you want to know the one thing that makes your life so much easier and so much lighter, especially as a neurodivergent person? And that before we do it feels so hard, but once you do it, it breaks with so much heaviness around you. Do you want to know that? Stay tuned. And welcome to Energy Wave number 14. I'm so excited that we're already at 14. It's so great to have you here. And if this is your first time here, hi, my name's May. I'm your neurospicy cyber witch and here to help you unravel anything energetic about your witchiness, your highly sensitivity, and or your neurospiciness, especially ADHDers and or all of, anybody who is interested in energy can come and listen to this. And hopefully we'll learn a lot, and be inspired. And today I want to talk to you about a beautiful topic, one of the one that makes life so much easier and is so hard and feels so hard in the beginning. I don't want to say it's hard to get there because it's actually easy to get there. The thing is that we, a lot of the times, have a resistance towards it. And if you remember last week, we spoke about resistance. So that's why today we're going to be talking about what do we do with this resistance a lot of, because, and I think I mentioned it last week already, that sometimes for us as, neurospicy people or highly sensitive people, we tend to be people pleasers and we tend to become whatever we think is the easiest way for everybody else. The problem is that because of it, we grow up and we live in a resistance towards ourselves because we judge ourselves very strongly. We're not good enough. We're not strong enough. We're too weak because of our sensitivity. We are too much because of our neurospiciness, because we're all over the place, or because we have needs. And maybe if you're a masked one like me, then you've been masking all of this and you haven't allowed yourself to set set boundaries enough for yourself, right? So you have people stomping all over you at the same time you would like to, but then you can't because you don't want to, you want to be nice to everybody, and it just becomes too much. And the thing is that if we want to overcome this, the first thing that we should do, and actually in this case, I'm a fan of actually using the word that we have to do. I don't like using that too much because I believe that we should do whatever feels right for us, at any point of in time. But one of the things that I've noticed, if we want to make changes in our lives, the best thing that we can do is start at a point where everything is already okay. Because if I want to learn a new habit and if I want to do something new with my life, and I'm saying with habits, I always put it with question mark, because why do we have to, have habits as neurospicy people? It's a little bit, a different conversation for some other time. But, whenever we want to make changes within ourselves, we should start by not fighting ourselves anymore. Because as long as we're fighting ourselves because we think we're not good enough, I remember a dear friend of mine, also strongly ADHD type, trying to get habits, actually getting so many books on how to become a person that has more habits, right? And I was watching how he told me, like, oh my God, look, I'm trying here and I have this productivity thing. And there I can see, I can scratch off when I did the habits, and right. And I understand that certain habits are necessary that are helpful for us. I know that for some, if you're like a high energy ADHDer, you need a lot of movement. So for example, having a routine in the mornings where you get up and do sports, it's very helpful. And if you can do that Perfect. Go for it. Do it. Right. That's a good thing to do. It helps your body get into movement. Right. It helps with so many things. And please, I'm not condoning that part. What I am condoning is that while this friend was trying to create those habits for himself, at the same time, he had his brain, his head, his manao. I think I already taught you last time. Manao is the mind, and our mind tells us a lot of stories during the day. And so, at the same time, while he was doing that, he was running a program. I'm not good enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm too lazy. I am, you know, I'm too slow. Why are you even trying? In a couple of months, you're gonna get, you're gonna end. And you hear that voice that keeps telling you all of these things, and that keeps telling you why you shouldn't be, why you are not worthy, why you shouldn't be doing all of those things. And here's the thing, and here's what I'm trying, what I want you to take with you from this. The problem is, after a couple of weeks, after a couple of months, is exactly what happened. All of those books that he had read, all of the, again, nothing. A couple of months later, a new book, new possibilities, new forms of motivation. Go for it. They never stuck because of this thing, because the foundation was still fighting itself, right? The foundation, and this is something that I noticed within myself, within my clients, for anybody that I've worked with. There is this we need to be able, we don't have to feel self-love for ourselves, but we need to get to a point where at least we feel neutral with ourselves. Because as long as you think you're not going to be able to do it, you're fighting the very thing that you want to create in your life. So, what's the solution for this? Practice self-acceptance. Practice, how do we call this? Practice to become less judgmental with yourself. All right? Because the more you practice not to be judgmental, the more you practice to accept yourself right now. I'm not saying that's going to be forever, but just for right now, for this moment, for this month, for this week, if you want to break it down just for today, for this moment when we're talking here, take it and allow yourself to accept who you are with all of your sides. I always like to see the yin and yang, symbol, and I love it because of this, because at any point in time, you always have the light and the dark side, and both of them have pieces of each other. And when we learn to accept ourselves for who we are with all of our being, with all of our, with all of who we are, to allow ourselves, I am who I am right now. And it doesn't have to be everything at the same time. You can take little, I saw it, I started seeing it, when I was doing this practice on my, on my own path. I saw it as a little practice of sort of like, how kids play and slip into different roles just to test them out. And for me, I remember, because, growing up in the 90s, you are very much seen as antisocial if you don't like hanging out with people, right? So for me, it was like, man, but I need time by myself. I'm completely overloaded with the world. I need space for myself. And I don't want to seem antisocial to the outside world. And then I asked myself, what's so bad about actually saying, dude, you know what? I know I don't seem like it. And I do have extroverted, moments, but my main system setting is being introvert. But because of who I am, I wasn't able to play with that role. So now I allowed myself to jump into the role of an introverted person. And I, back then I actually told everybody, I was like, you know what? I'm an introverted person. Right now, I'm not very good. That was, back in the day when I was going through my own overwhelmed depression. So I told my friends, you know what? Actually, the thing is right now, I'm not very well. I'm not doing good. And I need introverted space time for myself. And I think it started with one weekend a month. And at the end, it became every weekend. And there were only a few exceptions for birthdays or something like that. But it will be, I would say, you know what? This weekend, I'm out. Friday, I would come back from work. I would buy food for the weekend. And then I would stay at home, have, enough food for the whole weekend to be at home. And then the first day I would come out of home was, a Monday morning to go to work because I needed me time. I needed introverted time for myself. And that was incredible, realizing like, okay, I can slip into different roles, test them out, see if they're mine. And if I like them, maybe I can allow myself to love that part of myself more. And it's incredible because I still have, even now, friends that I've been friends with for years that still go like, what, you're introverted? And I'm like, yeah, I actually have, like, I do have my extroverted faces. And I know that, when you see me to the outside world and social media and stuff like that, you might think that, she's doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, I always say I'm a highly sensitive person that does Oktoberfest. And I know that for some people, that's like, oh my God, that's like, so many people. But, my secret to that is this one. And maybe I'll tell you, for those of you seeing, I have over-ear headphones. And they help me to really zone everybody else out. Yeah, and I use those for Oktoberfest too. But that's a topic for another time. But yeah, so I hope you understand where I'm getting with all of this, because the more we allow ourselves to practice self-acceptance, to, instead of judging ourselves and making ourselves small, give ourselves the space to really say, hey, I mean, I know it's not ideal to be introverted. That's how I saw it back then. Now I'm like, I'm an introvert. I love being an introvert and everybody can know about it. But yeah, but allow yourself to be 100% you, who you are. I know that I forget things and that I need to put them in my calendar to remind myself. I know that I sometimes need to set a timer to even get myself out of other things. And that's okay. And I am accepting that part about myself, because my waves are different, because sometimes when I'm inspired and in spirit and, working with that, time can be gone easily, right? So practice that, because when you are at that neutral point with yourself, it's like, oh, maybe it's actually not too bad. Maybe that happens. Or you're going like, okay, so it was nice doing this, but maybe I want to do it a little bit different now. And I know there's more steps, so don't worry. I still have a couple of more waves for you in the upcoming weeks. So I hope you come and stick around with me. Or if you want to go deeper, come join my Cyber Coven, because I'm working on a special membership for neurospicy, highly sensitive people, where you will actually have a whole group coaching session a month, and a lot of online courses and challenges that we can do together to support us and to help us. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it done soon, but just in case, if you want to, be aware of when I open up that space, follow me, come into my Cyber Coven. You'll find all the links below. And with that said, my beautiful soul, like I always say every week, give yourself grace, because you're an amazing human being. And I believe that through all of your neurospiciness, or because of all of your neurospiciness, you're magical. And I know that you can stand in your own divine brilliance if you allow yourself to.